go out there and check and see if Patrick's around. I don't see him yet unless he's on this one device. I'm assuming maybe his client. All right. Good morning. The court's going to take up the next case on the court's docket, which is CV 2101005. This is in the interest of Jaden Roper, Cadence Roper, Patience Ramirez, and Anna Lee Ramirez. The case is set for a services review hearing to check on the status of services being provided to the respondents. The hearing today is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is to engage case manager Nicolene Mayhall, Tracy Perry is the supervisor for the department, and Brown County Attorney Shane Britton represents the department. The mother of the child is Monica Salazar, and I believe she is participating in the hearing today. Patrick Howard is her attorney in line, and I believe Mr. Howard will be joining us here momentarily. The father of the children, Jaden and Cadence, is deceased. That's Stephen Ray Roper. The father of the children, Patience and Analia, is Earl Ramirez, and I don't believe he is present. The court has appointed Ronnie Lappy as his attorney ad litem, and Mr. Lappy is participating in the hearing today. Chelsea Timmons is the attorney and guardian ad litem for the children. The children are excused from participating in today's hearing. We'll stand by for just a second. Mr. Howard's about to join us, I believe. The court will note that Patrick Howard is now also participating in the hearing today. All right, if we are ready to proceed, I would ask Ms. Mayhall, Ms. Salazar, if each of you could raise your right hands, please. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor. Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Britton, if you're ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. I'll call Ms. Mayhall.
Right, thank you. Go ahead.
You are the permanency case manager for To Engage.
Yes, sir.
You filed a court report on June the 28th of 2021 in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All the information in that report still true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
The only thing that I know of that has changed is Cadence had a dentist appointment where one cavity was filled and adjustment on a spacer.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, everything else is
everything else is okay. If you could tell us how Mom's doing on her service plan.
Mom is doing wonderful. She has completed everything. She did her parenting classes with the Padres program out of Abilene. She is testing negative on all of her drug tests. She's had her psychological. She's been discharged from K. Oliver for successful completion. She's had her substance abuse assessment. And looking at what else. To my knowledge, she has completed everything.
Good. What kind of visitation schedule is she having?
She has 1 week every week for 1 hour at the office.
Okay. What do we need to do about getting her some more visits if she's doing so well?
I am not opposed to more visits.
Okay. Let's see, we're about 6 months into this case. Is that correct or so?
Yeah. Your take.
Okay. And so do you have a proposal or kind of just kind of thinking out loud, some kind of an idea on expanding her visits?
For sure we could do, longer visits. I know that much, here at the office. I'm open for suggestions. I know that I am currently working on a service plan with her boyfriend to get he has completed services once in a previous case, but he's not opposed to doing them again for this case.
Okay. Now if he, I mean, it's not he, if do you think that we're to the point of her having some unsupervised visits, maybe taking the kids to the park for a few hours?
I would want to staff that, but I don't see a problem with it.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm assuming that the plan of the department is still family reunification with mom.
Yes.
Do you have any concerns about mom's boyfriend?
I do not. I mean, I know he maintains a full-time job, and I've seen him a couple of times, and he has been appropriate. The children love him, and the children actually want to see him as well. They've asked, you know, at visits, can we see him, or can he come to visits, or, you know, they're very bonded with him.
Do you anticipate this being a case that we'll be doing a monitor return sometime in the near future?
I could see that.
And where are the children currently placed?
Jaden is placed with Irma Hall. Cadence is placed with Evelyn Young, and the two little girls, Patience and Analia, are placed in a kinship home of Marcela Hernandez.
I'll press the witness, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Any questions?
Sure. When we talk about the boyfriend, we're talking about is it Nico Villarreal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And just so to inform the court, when we say he worked services in a previous case, that's a previous case that ended pretty recently.
Yes, sir.
And in that case, he was able to get a monitored return and did everything he could to end up with custody of his kids.
I mean, to my knowledge, I didn't work that case, but to my knowledge, I know he has his child back.
Right. And you know that he got his child back at the end of a CPS case.
Correct.
And do you know when that case closed? It was within the last 6 months, wasn't it?
I think it's less than that, personally.
And so, you know that Mr. Villarreal just worked full services and was able to get his kids back. What additional services do you think he needs?
It's just usually in policy that we ask, you know, significant others or paramours to work services. I've never been in the situation that when they've just done it to do it again.
Okay, so let me hear what you're saying. I think is that you're saying that he needs to work services, but we don't really have any concerns for him. It's just what we do in this situation.
Mr. Villarreal contacted me asking what he needed to do, and I thought that was pretty honorable, you know.
And are you aware that there was a request previous in this case to let these kids go live with Mr. Villarreal and not the mom while they were still separated? Are you aware that request was made?
Yes, and I staffed it, and we didn't have a good you know, like feeling about it, just because of them being in a relationship, and we had reason to believe they were living together and so forth.
Well, sure, but I think what I understand is right now they're living together. They decided, hey, it's better for us just to do this together. By that I mean the mom and Mr. Villarreal.
Correct.
Okay. So I know Mr. Burden asked you this, and he said it seems like we're working towards a monitored return. Do we have a schedule of increasing visits towards a monitored return yet?
I do not.
Okay. And so are you against coming up with a schedule where we talk about the mom getting more supervised visits, and then they move to unsupervised, and even when the monitored return would presumably start if she meets all those step-up visits?
I am not against that.
And just to make it clear, there's no concern with the department that you know of right now about Mr. Villarreal being in this case and being involved with these kids?
No, I don't know of any concern, no.
In fact, it sounds like he would be a good support to mom.
Correct.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Thank you, Ms. Timmons. Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Lappy, any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. This case started in February. We've had some difficulty getting Dad a courtesy worker there in Waco. Has that been done?
Dad should have a courtesy worker already. I don't have that information on me right this second, but he should have one. It has been
No.
requested.
You know if the courtesy workers started lining up with services there in Waco or anything? Or?
I do not know that, but I have set up services for Dad.
And then some of the things that there's a parenting class he's doing through a Methodist church that he found on the Department of Family Protective Services website that's at a church in Waco, and he's doing that in one of your.
He advised me that he was starting that class yesterday. I have mailed him parenting packs several times, and he first said he would do them, and then he was against them. So we went to looking for parenting classes, and then he come back and said he was just going to do them and wanted me to remail them. So I remailed them to him then. He advised me that he would have them back to me on July 2nd, and I still have not seen them.
You there was an incident where you asked him to do a hair follicle, and he said he didn't have any hair to do a hair follicle, and you did that as a positive. Has he since then got 3 negatives?
He has got 2 negatives, and I am working on getting the 3rd negative right now. I have submitted for him to go take the 3rd drug test, but since he is out of the area, it has to go through TDATS, and I haven't got the response back yet for him to go.
It's not like he's refusing or anything. It's just hadn't been lined up for it.
It's just the process.
Is he getting any? I know he's not. He can't do the actual visits now, but is he doing any virtual visits?
No.
And Dad works for some member of his family or something, doesn't he? He works in a family business or something.
He was working for his father in his body shop, and then he, I think, still worked there on the side, but didn't actually work there. And he went to work for a farm, I think a chicken farm. And then it has been brought to my attention he has quit that job and went somewhere else. But he has not told me this, so that was just brought to my attention yesterday from the counselor.
So, what other services does Dad need to complete?
Well, the individual counseling that he was working on with Kay Oliver, she called me yesterday, and he has decided that it's a conflict of interest for him to do services with her. I'm not sure for what reason, so she's not scheduling any more sessions with him. She had been seeing him for several sessions, and I've got her notes from, the sessions they completed, but she feels like that if he thinks it's a conflict of interest, she doesn't want it to come back on her later, and is refusing any further sessions.
Because she's also doing the counseling for Mom. Is that the idea?
Mom has already completed counseling, but yes.
Was he driving over here from Waco for those, or were they doing those online?
They were doing them virtual.
In the past, the dad had refused to sign the family service plan because the alternate choice was termination by fictive kin. Did he ever sign that, or?
No, he did not. He refuses.
He said if that was changed to instead of fictive kin to be a relative, he told you he'd sign it if it was changed, but that's not your plan.
Our goal is alternate fictive kin, adoption, and right now they're with fictive kin. So if something was to happen and rights were terminated, I assumed they would stay with his mother. And we've tried to explain that to him, but he doesn't listen to us.
Have you done a home study on his mother?
Yes, I believe there was a home study completed way back in the very beginning. I
Was
know
it
she,
okay? Do you know? Was there
Yeah,
anything wrong with it?
no, there was nothing wrong with it.
So as soon as there's one more test, that he can start the visits,
Correct.
and
As long as it's negative.
as long as it's negative, court. And those are at your office.
The
Don't-
visit, yes,
The visits are that way. How often was he getting the visits?
1 hour weekly.
There was some problem where he had a car wreck that tore up his car, and he was looking for another car. But has he gotten another vehicle?
He did secure another vehicle. And actually, I think there was 1 or 2 weeks go by after he had the vehicle that he didn't want to start visits. And then that's when he got the presumed positive.
Is he with anybody? Do you know what his situation is?
I am unaware if he is with anybody.
So at the present time, if you the plan is to do family reunification with mom and just leave dad's rights intact at this point. That's the plan.
Yes.
I pass this witness, Your Honor.
Timmons, do you have any questions?
Ms. Mayhall, can you explain further about the hair follicle? What?
Mr. Ramirez I was trying to get a hold of him to go take a drug test. It was just going to be a UA test. And I couldn't get a hold of him. He was unreachable for probably close to a week. And I contacted Miss Salazar and said, if you get a hold or if you hear from Mr. Ramirez, please tell him to call me. And it was a matter of hours and he was reaching out to me. And at that time, I plugged in for him to have the hair test because he said that he couldn't get a hold of me because his phone was broke. So I felt like by that point, I had already left messages telling him, that I want him to go take a drug test. And if he was trying to let the drugs clean out of his system or whatever, the hair test would pick it up. And it was brought to our attention through some text messages that he went and shaved all of his hair off his body so that he couldn't complete the hair test.
Okay. So you had actually reached out to him a couple of times for UAs and he didn't respond, but you didn't count those against him. Is that correct?
I didn't because I couldn't actually, it wasn't like I couldn't be confirmed that he actually got the message.
Sure. Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Britton, any additional questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Just one quick follow-up. I should have asked this before. You've been to Mr. Villarreal's house, is that right?
Yes.
And that's presumably where these kids will be residing if the mother's able to get a monitored return.
Yes.
Is that house safe enough, appropriate enough? Seems like it can meet the needs of these kids.
Yes. Well, let me correct myself. To my knowledge, Mr. Villarreal and Miss Salazar are already living in a house out in Early. I have been to that location.
Right.
I
Okay.
know that they were buying it. So
Okay.
I just want to confirm that.
Sure. And thank you for that. So the present house they're in, they're together. Is that right?
Yes.
And they've let you know that. That's not a secret, right?
No.
And that house is appropriate enough for these kids,
Correct.
including the kids, I guess, that Mr. Villarreal has.
It's a 4-bedroom spacious house.
Okay. Okay. So at this point, the mom and Mr. Villarreal are doing everything y'all are asking them to do.
Correct.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Mayhall?
I have a question, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
From the very beginning, in this case, when Dad's been online, he's always had a real short buzz haircut from the very beginning, hasn't he?
He does not have much hair on top of his head, but I
And he
mean,
told you, did he tell you that he always shaved his body hair because he wanted his tattoos to show up? Did he tell you that?
no, he did not.
I pass the witness,
I
Your
didn't
Honor.
know he had tattoos.
All right, any other questions for Ms. Mayhaw?
No other questions,
No.
Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Britton, did you have any other witnesses?
I had nothing further, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Howard, any witnesses?
No.
Okay, Mr. Lapping.
No other witnesses here. Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Ramirez just about a week ago, and he was planning to be online. I don't know what happened, but he told me then he was asking questions and he was planning to be online. But I think something must have come up. I don't think he just refusing to be there, but I don't know.
Well, I was just double checking. I don't see him in my conference room or my waiting room right now, but something may have come up. I don't know. He's not there right now. Thank you. All right.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
we have a permanency conference set tomorrow, and we got some emails about that being changed 2 or 3 times. I mean, he may have been confused about having something today and something tomorrow, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, he can certainly get with you. He may have a reason why he wasn't here. I'm not necessarily holding that against him at all, just noting it for the record that he didn't participate today. All right. Thank you. All right. Ms. Mayall, what are y'all going to do about this counseling issue? Y'all going to get another counselor set up for the
Yes.
father?
Miss Oliver expressed to me that Mr. Ramirez wanted to secure his own counselor that was not a CPS counselor, was her words. So I don't know if I need to let him do that or secure another one, but I am more than willing to try to find him another one.
I think y'all need to get in touch with him, and if he wants to pay for his own counselor, I guess you can review whether you feel you have any objection to that counselor, but he needs to know which way you're going to go on it. If you're going to get a different counselor or you're not going to get another one, you need to let him know that too, just so he knows where you stand on that issue. All right, thank you. Regarding the visitation, I'm going to direct the department within the next 7 days to prepare and file and provide to the parties an updated visitation plan for the mother that sets forth a specific schedule of increased supervised and unsupervised visits for her. I'll leave it up to y'all to come up with that plan, but given her progress on her service plan, I think y'all need to be working promptly towards increasing her visits towards a possible monitor return of the children to her if she continues her progress. The court will continue current orders in place with the children remaining in the temporary management and survivorship of the department and the children remaining in current placements. The next hearing right now is set for August 12, 2021 at 9 a.m. It's an initial permanency hearing. A permanency hearing and pretrial is set on December 2nd, 2021 at 10. The trial is set January 6, 2022 at 3 p.m. And the dismissal date for the case is February 21st, 2022. Ms. Salazar, I'm required to advise any parent in this type of case that because of the nature of these proceedings, your parental custodial rights and duties to your children may be subject to restriction or even termination, and your progress on any court orders or planned service will be reviewed at future hearings in the case. That said, it sounds like you're making good progress on your service plan and services. I'd encourage you to continue to work with the department and hopefully the children come back in your care in the near future. Thank you. All right, with that, we'll be adjourned from today.